All right. Let's rock. Yo, yo, yo. Welcome back to the Out the Box Show. I'm John Wallace alongside my co-host, James Luffy. What's up, dude?
Not much, dude. Glad to get a dub this past weekend.
Dude,
Missing Rory.
I was about to say, like, I'm at the point where, like, I'm missing him now. Like, to begin with, it was kind of like a vacation. Okay, yeah. Then we went through the period where he had to study for the bar, and it's funny how all the little time offs and all that he's taken have been to completely better himself and all that. But me selfishly is like, we got to get our boy back, right? Like, it's like I feel like the show isn't what it is without all three of us sitting here cutting it up.
I agree. We miss his insight. We miss getting into arguments with him, and his football knowledge, really.
I have a feeling it's going to be sooner rather than later. Maybe we can just get him to pop on for a little bit. Maybe after we put the baby to sleep, we'll promise that we'll talk a little lower, and we won't get into a heated argument. And unless we talk about Napier going to Florida or something, I think we could figure something out.
Definitely.
But we have a packed show for you guys. Like you also mentioned, LSU won at Jordan-Hare last weekend. Who would have thunk it? I'm pretty sure me and you both predicted that we were going to win, but it was going to be kind of a messy game. I think we were right about it being kind of a low scoring game in the end.
Yeah.
It definitely had its moments. There was a lot of up and downs, but
did we get the score? Did one of us get the score right? Because our scores are right around that.
I said 18-12. And I think you said like something like we'll have to go back and check the tape. You said 20 to like 14 or something.
Yeah, something like.
I don't know.
We were close though.
Yeah. And it was. We're gonna get all the way into that and whatnot, but it was at the end of the day a win. A win is a win, and we did what we had to do on the road at Jordan-Hare, a tough place to play. It was a win. We're gonna break that down. Look ahead to LSU's biggest game of the season. No doubt in my mind. Tennessee coming up at the stadium this Saturday. Early game. I've had people texting me so far this week saying, where are we getting mimosas before? Where are we doing a tailgate and whatnot? We'll get to all that. Going to be a great day in Baton Rouge when LSU takes down the Vols. But before we get to the rest of our show, I want to give a huge shout out to Blaine Loop with Keller Williams Realty. We highlighted it all last week for Blaine. Alex Forbes gave his testimony on Blaine and the work that he's done for his family. And Blaine just has all kind of accolades, that whether it be, I'm a bad podcaster here, but his stats speak for themselves, right? And no other realtor would go that extra mile for you than Blaine Loop. He wouldn't have been able to sell his first $1 million listing. He's only been in real estate for a few years. He wouldn't have been able to sell over $5 million in volume over the last 7 months. He also wouldn't have been recognized as one of Keller Williams' top producers in Southeast Louisiana, which is the top 20% of agents, if it weren't true. Like, you don't just earn these things out of nowhere. Make sure to call or text Blaine Loop at 504-858-0031 for all your housing needs. Also, shout out to the Boot Crew Media Network. Boot Crew Media is killing it right now. NFL, gambling, food, fall weather, you name it. It's on the Boot Crew Media social media page and on their website, bootcrewmedia.com, and on social media at Boot Crew Media. Great time of year for Boot Crew Media. There's tons of content. We say it all the time. Content for hours. Chris Calderera, shout out Chris. I want to apologize. He posted an article today recapping LSU's big win, their grit and their determination over Auburn on the road. He put that in the written word, and it's on bootcrewmedia.com. You can go check it out right now. Shout out to the Boot Crew Media Network and Chris Calderera. All right. So neither of us was able to make the trip. This was the first LSU game of the season that I have not been in attendance for, right? You had the game in the Dome, the first game against Florida State. Don't want to talk about that. And then you had 3 home games that were relatively easy, minus the Mississippi State game. And we knew that this was going to be rough going into Jordan-Hare. And it pretty much looked exactly like it felt that thought of it being rough in the first half.
Yeah, I mean, neither of us sat up here and said we would blow them out last week. A lot of people did say that.
I told you so.
A lot of big
We
analysts.
didn't tell y'all that. We told y'all it was going to be close.
Not to say we told you so, but we were not. Neither of us thought we would cover the spread. This is probably one of the more accurate predictions we've had throughout a couple years of doing this.
It might be the most accurate.
We were very close in the score, and it's just a hard place to go and win. And we got off to an awful start, a couple coverage busts. And, they get out. I think they scored, and then we go 3 and out and punt them the ball right back to them. And then it was just a struggle, really, offensively. The entire first half, we had, 3 and out on the first drive. We give the ball back, get it back, only go like 30 yards, give it back to them. They give it back to us, 4 plays, 8 yards, another punt. Then Auburn goes 99 yards after we punted to the 1. Jay Bramlett's done a great job punting the ball. I feel like we should shout him out. But the defense was able to adjust. And then they go up 17-0. We can't really do anything. And the leader of the team, BJ Ojulari, comes through, strip sack, Jay Ward in the right place, scoops it, scores it. And then after that, we really kind of took over the game, had all the momentum, a huge touchdown drive towards the end of the half, where Daniels ended up just walking in, broke a couple big plays. Was that the drive that Emory had the little pass that he broke out?
I believe so. I want to say it was right before half.
Yep. That was a 39-yard pass that they ran down. They really got us down to the 1, and then a couple plays not getting it in, and Daniels walks it in on second goal. And then the second half was kind of boring. The defense shut it down. We went 3 and out. They went 3 and out. We punted. They punted, and then we finally get a touchdown. Jaden Daniels comes out of the game on this drive. After this drive, we had a couple nice penalties to get us down there, and we finally punch it in. And then from that point, it was like, can we hold on? Can we hold on? The defense comes up big. Harold Perkins gets the pick from our guy Core Moore. Shout out Core Moore. And then
he was the best receiver that we had last year, right?
Yep. And then by far. And then towards the end of the game, you have the incredible play from Greg Brooks stripping it out of Coy Moore's hands after we fumbled, which really scared me after that fumble. Emory fumbled, and we somehow run the clock out to end the game. It's a tough place to play. I mean, even when they're bad, that place is packed. I mean, that place was packed to the brim. It was loud, night game, and it was just a sloppy game. Everyone knows the stats. I feel like by now, Thursday, 5 yards of passing in the second half isn't good. Obviously, Jaden Daniels came out of the game and Nuss came in, and they really kind of shut it down and were conservative in the second half offensively, because I think that they just thought that Auburn couldn't score on us, and it ended up working. The turnover battle was the difference for us, and the strip sack, but the offense is going to have to get a lot better.
Yeah, and I'll be the first to say I was at a bar in New Orleans watching the game, and as soon as LSU went down 7-0, you're like, okay, this has the potential to kind of snowball, right? How's LSU going to bounce back? Then they go down 14, and it's like, okay, this is probably about to be bad. Then 17-0, you're like, okay, but it can't get any worse. So LSU's got to make their adjustments. I will go ahead and say I lied bet LSU when they went down 17. I think it was like plus.
It wasn't even good. It was like plus like 330.
That's what I was going to say. Like when they went down 7, LSU was still favored. When they went down 14, it was like almost even money to pick LSU. I mean, that is how little faith they had in Auburn. And you and I talked about going to Jordan Hare is just inherently difficult. It's not. It has nothing to do. We talked about it. It's all stuff out of LSU's control. Going to Jordan Hare, the hurricane didn't have much of an effect, I don't think, on LSU or Auburn. But
no, the weather was perfect. I was in Birmingham, and it was
right.
The weather couldn't have been better.
It kind of moved through there and got out. But I do want to just kind of talk about a few things that stood out from the game. It's, we kind of went through the game flow and whatnot, and we pointed out the key plays, but this game's more about the takeaways from it. Mm-hmm. So Jaden Daniels, only 80 yards passing. He called a team meeting, I believe, this week with his receivers, talking about how he's going to start trusting in his receivers more. And I feel like there's two ways to look at it. Okay. The first way that you can look at it is to say, well, a 50-50 ball means that, there's a 50-50 shot that the receiver catches it, and the other 50% means that the cornerback or the defensive back's going to catch it. I don't believe that's what he meant. He believes he's going to put the ball more in a position for our receivers to go up and showcase their athleticism and to beat our defenders. We have such talented receivers. We really do. It's obvious. On the other hand, I don't want him to just be aggressive to the point where he's just throwing picks left and right. Mm-hmm. I mean, and to be honest with you, that's kind of the reason that he won the job in the first place, because he's not a gunslinger. He's not a guy that's going to just sling the ball and hope for the best. He's calculated, he makes his decisions, but he has to reach a happy medium in his pocket presence. He has to, one, not hold on to the ball too long. And when and like we've said, there's been changes to the offensive line. Dellinger not being in this past week.
It hurt. I mean, it hurt, definitely.
Exactly. And he has to figure out that sweet spot in his mind where he is not going to just throw the ball into triple coverage to try to force a play, but also not sit back long enough to where he won't be put in that position. He had a few good first down runs. Like, he is still good at scrambling, but he has to just have this awareness. I don't know what it's going to take, because I feel like you can throw it up to Kayshawn and he'll come down with the ball on a 50-50 ball more often than 50%. But how long until that turns into a pick or a pick six? And
really, the offense just wasn't overall wasn't good, because I think that Mason Taylor had 11 targets and 3 catches. That's not going to cut it. We had drops. I think a couple different receivers dropped the ball. And you know what? Maybe a couple were behind him, but we've got to help him out. Whether the ball's behind them or outside their body, we're going to have to make those catches. If that's the strength of our team, John, we've got to make those plays. I think Kayshawn dropped the ball, but that may have been from Nuss. Taylor dropped a couple. He's a freshman playing in a big game on the road. I think Neighbors may have dropped one that was a little behind them. But the receivers have got to step up, and Daniels, they're going to have to get more. They're going to have to come with pretty much a new game plan this week. I mean, we're going to have to keep up with Tennessee, because
the game plan is to just throw it up and let your receivers make plays. And I think, looking at Tennessee's defense, this is the weekend to try that out. If it starts going south, you might have to have a plan B. But Tennessee's pass defense is very doable against, and we can beat these guys deep. I don't want to get too far, ahead to the Tennessee game, but you're right.
Yeah. But we were able to. I mean, we ran the ball decently in the second half. 6 yards a carry. John Emery broke a couple. I put up a poll yesterday asking if John Emery could be a star.
I saw.
I think about half the people said yes, half said, or about 20% said maybe, and the rest said they don't think so, or 30% said maybe, and the last 20 said I don't think so. Ball issues, or they've been there. 2 fumbles this year. There was a blocking assignment missed. Brian Kelly said that in the press conference. And he's someone who we really need to step up. We need him in this offense. We need a consistent running game, because we got to keep the ball away from the other team this coming up week. But
I think that's
to finish up
strategy.
To finish up on Auburn, with a couple things Coach said, is just like, they're going to have to change some things. Like, it is an evolving offense. They're going to have to instill more confidence in Daniels, and I wish they would have been a little bit more aggressive with Nuss. I understand they were trying to win the game, but I would have liked to see a little bit more of what Nuss had in that game. I think he did a good job coming in and being steady and helping finish the game off. And the young O-line struggled a little bit in this game, and the young tackles did. The right side seemed to struggle some, but we're back at home this week. We've got to cut the penalties. This is another thing. The penalties on special teams are ridiculous. How many penalties do we have on special teams? 4.
Well, I think the most notable one is that Seven Banks got called for targeting on a play that he ends up getting wheeled off on a stretcher. Yeah. But anyway, hopefully he's getting that.
And look, we're getting really thin in the secondary. You lost Seven Banks, you lost Major Burns. Joe Fouché made his first start this past weekend and got burned on that first touchdown. And we have some other young players in the secondary, Sage Ryan, who is highly recruited, but he is still a young player. And it's definitely a concern this week against Tennessee. But you know what? We'll take a win on the road in the SEC West any day. Brian Kelly said it. He's been very candid in his press conferences. He's not really bullshitting at all with the media.
Dude, it's the most brutally, he's not brutally honest, but it's the most honest, like just no sugarcoating, no nothing. He's like, he just tells
and it's
it
weird
like
that other media, that media members that have covered in the past don't like him, because you would tend to want a guy you could get some honesty out of.
He doesn't have the personality that kind of sparks a story, I guess. I don't know. I mean, we thought Coach O was honest.
Coach O was too honest at times, and at other times you could tell he was lying.
Right. Brian Kelly, I don't ever sense. I mean, if there's a reporter that asks who's going to be the starter, well, I'm not telling you that. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Yes, and like they asked him, like, what happened on a coverage bus, like whose fault that was, and he just said, you know what, I'm not going to call out individual players. That's not what I'm here to do. I'm not calling out college students, like, and I like that about him.
Everybody, like, you can go. Everybody has access to the film. You can go back and look. Yeah. But he does it in a way that answers their question without one. And I'm not a fan at all, and I don't think most people would be of a coach calling out any of these players.
But and Brian Kelly does call out players, but he does it in a way that's
actually constructive. Yeah. Yes, that's the word I was thinking of.
Yeah. So a win's a win. A win's a win. I mean,
to go on the road, you drove the point home. Like, going to Jordan-Hare and getting the win, it's a tough place to play. Have you've been there? I assume.
I have not been there. Every year I have not been. Have you been?
No, I have not.
I really wanted to go this year, but we couldn't go. We got to do that down the line.
We will get a trip together. But yes, like we've kind of said, the game was messy, but this is just what LSU is this year, and I don't think we win this game without Brian Kelly and the staff that he's put together. I really do think the resolve and the ability to come back down from 17-0, 0 points for Auburn in the second half. 0 points. That's huge. Well, in our last 8 quarters, we've given up
0 points.
0 points in 6 out of the 8 quarters. So all that to say, it's like, yes, we went on the road. Yes, it was sloppy. Yes, we went down early. But there is so much to be said for that resiliency and that grit and that heart to be able to come back and get the W in such a tough environment. And that was the other thing. The defense, we had a few mishaps and whatnot because our defensive back room is thin and a few of the
new starter at safety,
But House figured it out.
Yeah,
he's like House the show. He's like House the doctor. He no matter how bad the patient gets, he's gonna come in at the end of the day and save the day.
And Jay Roy played a good game. That I didn't realize he was injured. That's one thing they've kind of hidden. But Brian Kelly said he's coming back. He's feeling better. His back's feeling better. Jay Roy and BJ Arjolari and Harold Perkins are just two freaks of nature. Harold Perkins and I think you found your starters with Harold and Micah Baskerville. I think that Mike Jones and Wes Weeks are the second team, and You
I
could actually
know.
see the defense struggle a little bit more with them. But Perkins is a physical freak, and he's going to play another big role this week in making what's his name uncomfortable. I just blanked on his name. But we'll talk about Tennessee after we clean up
Let's clean
this
it up.
segment with Workbox. Y'all know about Martine, the hardest working man in the state of Louisiana. If you need a storage container, a portable office, a portable restroom rentals, porta potties, roll off dumpsters, call Martine at Workbox. It's 225-343-4886. If you need a storage container, a portable office, portable restroom rentals, porta potties for your party, roll off dumpster because you're redoing your house, call Martine at Workbox. It's 225-343-4886.
As we mentioned, Hendon Hooker and
Yes,
the Tennessee Volunteers are coming to town. Early morning game in Tiger Stadium. I assume the weather is going to be like it has been for the last week and a half. Just perfect weather environment for a game. Would have been fantastic for a 2:30 CBS game with the music and the hoopla, but it is what it is. Everybody's Tiger fans got to wake up early. We are going to show out in Tiger Stadium, and I want to just go ahead and start by asking you, Luffy, if you had to pick one thing that this offense had to do, be it, I'm gonna give you two options. This is a multiple choice test, and if I think of a third one, I'll fill you in on that. Is it better in this game for Jaden Daniels to spread the ball out and have a big passing game, or is it more important for our defense to shut down Hendon Hooker?
Ooh, I mean, I think the defense is going to have to be key in this game. I don't know that we're capable of that really. And I think it can be a possession passing game. You saw a lot of short throws last week that we didn't complete, and if we could have completed them, we would have advanced the ball and gotten. We got to get that 3rd and 5, get that 3rd and 3, and stay on the field and keep Tennessee's offense off the field. A massive passing game. I don't know if I see that this week.
Massive passing game, but I'm just wondering if it's more important for LSU. Like, you got to score points to win, right?
Yeah. Oh no. I mean, we're gonna have to score this week to win. I think that our defense is good, but Hendon Hooker's turned the ball over 0 times. They have a couple good receivers that they have.
I'm just thinking Tennessee is going to score.
Yeah,
they're going to score points. That's what they do. They have proven that they can against quality SEC teams, and I'm just thinking that LSU's offensive game plan has to be. I think if LSU's defense holds Tennessee in the first half, I think we have an actual shot of winning this game.
And
because LSU's second half,
more important than both those things, I think we got to get out to a good start this week. We've got to get the crowd into it and take Tennessee out of it. We've got to get out to a good start.
And it starts with the flyover.
Yeah, it starts with the flyover. I love a flyover. And we've got to get the crowd into it because that just it brings a different energy into that place. And this is the week for trick plays. This is the week for trick plays on special teams, on offense. If we're stuck on offense, we need to have 3 or 4 trick plays that we're going to in this game. We've got to we're breaking out all the stops this week, right? This is a top 10 team in Tennessee coming to town, a really solid team with a good coach. Heupel's a good coach, and there's no holding back this week offensively.
And I think that this comes at a great time, not having the best offensive performance, especially in the passing game, from Jaden Daniels. This is where you really – I feel like this is kind of a turning point game for Daniels to say, because I'll just go ahead and say it. There are people out there that are questioning his ability. It's not me, but there are people – and there's always going to be, right? But there are people that are questioning his ability to get out of the pocket, to find open receivers. And I feel like he's got to take it snap by snap. He's got to take it snap by snap, but he cannot force it. He cannot force it. I know LSU fans here, yeah, I'm gonna throw you more 50-50 balls, and we're gonna sling it this weekend. It has to be calculated, and I think Brian Kelly is the perfect leader of this team to be able to kind of experiment slash sling it. Experiment, throw it up. Keishon Butte has got to get involved. I know that's been a huge thing. He was a little involved this past weekend, but he's got to get wide open. It could never be more important for our wide receivers to get wide open to catch the ball. And against Tennessee's passing defense, it's very possible.
Yeah, I mean, their passing defense hasn't been great. I think they have a corner that's banged up. But
let's take some shots too. Just for one-on-one.
That's a pass rush thing too. I mean, we've got to have some time to take shots. I don't know that we're going to have that. And I think that, another thing with Daniels is how much can he keep running? We talked about this.
Well, he got hurt this past weekend. That's another
he's got hurt the last 2 weekends. Come out of the game.
You're right. That's another thing that LSU fans who are not necessarily on the Jaden Daniels bandwagon is, he's just going to run and he's going to eventually get hurt. Like, he has to be smart, sliding when he needs to, getting out of the pocket, but sometimes it's unavoidable. But yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I mean, I worry for his health. Him running out there in the SEC, we've talked about this week after week. It is a brutal conference, and Tennessee's got some real players on defense that can beat up JD. And Nuss has to be ready this week. I'm sure the coaches have told him that, but he's had to play. He's had to come and play the last 2 weeks, and even it's for a series. Say he takes a hard shot, and they got to evaluate him for a concussion.
That's when Tennessee will get you.
Yeah, but I think that they have to stay aggressive with Nuss. They cannot back off the play calling like they did against Auburn, and I think they know that. They've got to stay aggressive and instill that confidence in him that he can do it, because Nuss has a good arm. The arm talent's there. He can throw the ball, and so I think that they need to let it rip if something were to happen to Daniels. But it's tough. We've got our receivers got to help them out, and they've got to come up with some more concepts. 11 targets for the freshman tight end is a little frustrating, especially for me. I the last couple of weeks at the beginning of the season, I was like, maybe no Besh to switching back to the tight end after Florida State. I was like, we need Besh back at tight end, because he wasn't getting any targets. He's been switching out in and out at receiver, and when Mason Taylor spread out and they're getting him the ball there. Would you not rather have Besh catch a couple of those passes?
Yes and no. It was frustrating, the drops. I get it.
But if he can get on the field, if Besh can get on the field more often at tight end, I think you need to get him out there. I mean, I don't know. I think that the more player makers are out there, and Besh maybe makes 3 more of those catches and picks up a couple first downs.
I mean, hell, mix it up a ton. Run a few 2 tight end sets and make a key on Besh, and maybe Taylor will get open. I don't know. We got to mix it up. You're right. There has to be
a massive change. Right.
Yeah. There has to. I mean, 80 yards on the road against an SEC team, especially Auburn, who is not anything special by any means. We're going to have to mix it up. They're going to have to get creative. I fully think Brian Kelly is sitting right now in his office figuring out ways that Jaden Daniels can one, be more aggressive in the pass game while also running when he needs to.
Yeah.
And figuring out when and which plays are going to beat this Tennessee defense. And our biggest ally in this game is going to be the clock. If you throw a bunch of incomplete passes and have 3 and outs, the clock's not going to run.
Yep.
Hendon Hooker gets the ball. It's a double-edged sword. So it has to be very calculated. I think if LSU stays in this game in the first half, this might sound stupid to say, but if LSU stays in this game in the first half, Matt House, because like we said, Tennessee is going to score points. Matt House keeps Tennessee contained. They're going to score. Keeps them contained the first half. It's a toss-up for the second half.
Would you be happy? Would you be happy with 7-7 at half?
Yes.
Yeah, me too. I think that if we can possess the ball, move it a little bit, even if we don't score every drive.
I want to see even possession time.
Keep our defense rested, and hopefully stay healthy throughout the game, and like give us time to make adjustments on offense. But we've got to move the ball some. The running game, I think, is almost not even being talked about enough.
Is Armani Goodwin coming back this week?
I wouldn't. I think he's 4 to 6 weeks.
that hurts.
Yeah, I mean, John Emery's got to step up. This is his time to step up and be a star.
And
I
we
mean,
saw that he can. We saw that
Yeah.
he can in SEC play. Granted, yeah, he's back. It took a few games for him to get back in the swing of things, but it's either step up or we don't run the clock and we don't win this game because we're going to have to mix it up. Josh Williams, 17 carries last week.
Yeah.
I mean, the dude's giving it his all.
The penalties, man. The penalties. We had 10 penalties last week. We put ourselves in long down and distance. We're not built for a long. This isn't Joe Burrow and 19 offense. Like, this is not an offense built for 2nd and 12 and 2nd and 16 and 3rd and 12, 3rd and 8. Like, we've got to get to some of those short down and distances because that's what our playbook's built upon. And the penalties just set you back, and we can't operate like that offensively. We're just not good enough to do that.
Yes. So three keys to the game, Luffy. I'm putting you like you're sitting at the table with Herb Street and Fowler and so Reese Davis and Desmond Howard. I want your 3 keys to the game, which we pretty much highlighted them all, but I want to hear a quick bullet point summary.
And the keys last week,
and I'll give mine.
And my biggest key last week was the turnovers.
Yes.
And guess what? Guess who won the turnover battle?
Yes,
LSU. Yes. And that's the only reason we won that game. I mean, it is the strip, sack, fumble, touchdown.
It really does. Before you say that, it does make me wonder how LSU performs against Auburn in Tiger Stadium. Because it seemed like LSU wasn't supposed to go down 17-0 against this team. The teams at best were evenly matched. At best, at absolute best. LSU was an 8-point favorite. And the home team gets 3. So LSU was technically on a neutral site, 11-point favorites in this game. We weren't supposed to go down 17. That's a 28-point swing against the team that's supposed to win?
Sure. I mean, yeah, it's football.
That's the way I know.
It's a hard,
But it just makes me it makes me wonder. I don't think LSU goes down 17-0.5, and I think LSU wins by, I don't know, 2 touchdowns.
Maybe they covered the spread. Yeah,
that's
sure.
What I'm saying, and it goes to show the difference Tiger Stadium
makes.
makes.
So I mean, I'll do time of possession 1. We've got to keep our defense well rested because I don't think it's good. I think if we're LSU's going to win, it's going to be a close game. So we're not going to blow them out, and we've got to keep our defense rested and have them take over in the 4th quarter with crowd noise. And 2, I said it already, get out to a fast start. We've got to get out of a fast start because that's going to get the crowd into it, and that's going to get the team into it. And, there's a lot of young players playing for this team now. There's a lot of veterans that are like transfers, and then there's a lot of really young players playing. And I think 3rd, you gotta find your playmakers. I think Malik Neighbors is maybe my key to this game. They've got to get him the ball. Everyone says get it to Booty. Coach Kelly said we'd love to get it to Booty. He'd love to get the ball as well, but teams are keying on him. They're double teaming him. The safety's watching him. Malik Neighbors is going to have to be your guy if they're going to be over Booty. Malik Neighbors is going to have a big game. And 2 touchdown catches from Malik this week.
All right. My 3 keys of the game. I can't reuse any of yours.
Okay.
First is flyover.
Flyover. I like that.
Because that is going to get the crowd absolutely rocking. I don't care what somebody was saying it'd be so much better if it was at 2:30. It's a day game to me. Yeah, we're going to wake up. Yeah, we're probably going to be, we're going to wake up a little bit earlier and get out there and whatnot. But the flyover, whether it's 2 fighter jets, 3 fighter jets, there has to be a flyover for LSU and this stadium to come alive early in the morning. That's number 1.
I like it.
Number 2, our running backs. Our running backs have to have productive carries. Productive carries, seconds off the clock.
I like that. That's really in line with the time of possession. I'm not disallowing it. No. I think it's a great point.
I think, but especially our running backs have to. And they also, like that video you shared with us a while back about a coach explaining why you use the running
need to
game.
Run the ball.
Yes. Yeah, it opens up your passing game.
Yeah.
So that's my thing. Third thing, special teams. You cannot give Tennessee, say, for example, I have full faith in the world that Jack Besh is going to field every punt cleanly, whether it's a fair catch or he makes a run at it. You cannot have any muff punts. You cannot have any
kick the ball out of bounds,
block in the backs, balls out of bounds, special teams penalties is what I'm sticking with. And hold on to the ball. Holding on to the ball this game, if LSU could get through this game and you tell me that we have 0 fumbles, I would legitimately, or picks, right? Bad picks, but mainly fumbles. I would think that LSU has a good shot at winning this game. And I think that leads us to a great into the Tennessee preview.
Yeah, and I mean, this is the first big game we've had in Tiger Stadium.
It's gonna be
this is a top 25 matchup. We didn't talk about our ranked. On the show, we don't give a shit about rankings.
Weekend? Where's game day going?
Alabama A&M.
Oh yeah, I think you're right.
Probably.
Let me double check while you talk.
Probably that's the best game this week, or this is prime time game. This is really the best game.
This is the game of the week.
It is the best game of. If you're looking to watch a good game that's going to be close, this is the best game by far. That obviously puts in the Jimbo versus Saban thing. But this is the first big game
so stupid
we've had in Tiger Stadium.
Kansas.
Since
is this right?
Texas A&M, we kicked their ass 50-7 when Joey
is this week
Burrow
6?
Beat their ass.
Is this week 6?
No,
we're 4-1.
We're 4-1. Yeah, yes.
So this is
it
week
depends
6.
if you count week 0. Yeah, but this is okay. Some people do. So, but I would week 6. Yes,
they're going to Kansas.
Yeah, because Kansas is good, and they're playing TCU.
Still don't think that's a better game, but
TCU's been putting on a show offensively. Who's TCU's offense coordinator, John?
Hingle Lanois.
Lincoln Riley's brother.
Stetson, our former guest co-host who filled in for Rory. What are we paying him for? Are we still paying him?
I'm gonna turn off the payroll. I'm logging on to ADP now.
He's been just getting paid since that last time. I can't believe it. Don't we have QuickBooks? Aren't you an accountant?
Yeah, I'm logging on, cutting it off.
Do you hate QuickBooks?
I mean, no. I have to use it every day. So
yeah, but it kind of like replaces you.
Oh no, it doesn't. I wish it did. I wouldn't have to do so much fixing. I mean, in QuickBooks, how many times I have to get in people's QuickBooks and fix it.
Hey, we don't shout you out enough. You're my personal accountant. Yeah. So
CPA,
certified personal
accountant. Yeah, that's what it stands for. Yeah.
There you go.
But no, yeah, I wish it did my job. That'd make my job easier.
What if they created a program that was QuickBooks that did everything that you do?
Yeah.
And then but they didn't tell anybody, so you would just subscribe to it for like $15 a month, and then you would just turn it out like you always do, and then you could be on the golf course all day with Stinson.
Yeah, the problem is the computers just aren't that smart yet,
Yeah, I know, but
like they get, because some stuff is like an opinion
thing. I just
wish
there was a way. I get that, but I just wish there was a way that you could have something like QuickBooks.
Oh, that would be awesome.
That does it for you, and then that way we could go full-time podcasting.
I'll go half in if you create it.
I don't know near enough about software. I can barely do my own day job, but
picks.
Yeah,
you got the record sheet.
That's where I was going.
Hey, I got my sweatshirt on right now.
Oh, well, you got to pick Tennessee. You got to pick the Tennessee score.
Oh,
yeah, that's where I was going.
But get your picks ready.
I got it.
Tennessee score 27, 23.
You're going to pick the Vols.
Tennessee. Volunteers.
Ouch.
What'd you think, John? We should. I'm going to text Rory and see if he'll respond quickly for his.
So I don't think it's fair to pick LSU, like to not pick LSU because we did in our season preview. I think Rory actually made a good point. Shout out Rory. I made a trade with him in our fantasy league earlier, and he said a guy commented on our trade, and we'll talk about the trade in a minute. But a guy commented and said, "You're really trading 2 waiver wire pickups for a top 5 tight end? And I said, yes. And Rory said, and I won't say his name because he's a friend of mine and he is in the league, but Rory told him, he said, beep, you don't know
Was it
anything.
Stephanos?
No,
Okay.
it was not, it was a different league. But he said, you don't know anything about trades because you're looking at draft value, and we're in week 5 in the NFL. Like, we're a quarter of the way through the season. Things change drastically. Every week things change. You got to look at current value. So all that to say, you got to look at the current value of what's going on. You can't just say, oh, okay, Tennessee's going to be good. Tennessee's better than we thought they were going to be this year. That's
debatable.
I don't think anyone thought Hendon Hooker was going to be.
Hendon Hooker was really good last year. I think that a lot of people are high on Tennessee.
He was, but people were okay. Let's
very
just
much
say
a dark horse to win the
people were high on
SEC.
Arkansas too.
No, I know, but the wrong people.
Right. So anyway, you look at current value. I think this game being in Tiger Stadium, I think it's hard for me to say that things, the new game plan is going to just result in Jaden Daniels having 350 yards passing and whatnot. But LSU's resolve last weekend at Auburn, I think the environment, like the blue sky in Tiger Stadium, is going to be electric. And I have to pick LSU.
You have to, John.
Long story short,
I
have to pick LSU. I do think it's close. I think it's going to be one of those, I don't know, 28 to 27 games. 28-27. Just weird.
Were you at the T-Bob game?
I was.
Me too. Me too.
I was sitting there and we were packing up and we
were walking on the damn steps.
I turned around and my dad was like,
everyone was.
I said, Dad,
the game was over.
He's like, come on, son. Like, get in the car. Shout out. It's my dad's birthday today. I know it's kind of late today and this is coming out tomorrow. But shout out to my dad. He's a great supporter of the Out of the Box podcast, and he wants us to talk more fishing.
Yeah,
so,
he has the logo tatted on his neck.
Yeah, and elsewhere.
Yep, but we won't talk about that.
Yeah. So anyway, LSU 28, Tennessee 27. Weirdo score.
I like it.
I think it's one of those where LSU has the chance to tie it. It's like 27-20, and we go for 2, and Brian Kelly we get the 2.
I like that.
Just realizing that going to
best call in
overtime
the
with
playbook.
Tennessee is not a good idea. I think we win 28-27.
I hope you're right.
All right. Shout out to the DraftKings Sportsbook, the official sports betting partner of Boot Crew Media. Enter promo code BOOT, bet $5 and get $200 in free bets. DraftKings Sportsbook, restrictions apply, 21 plus. See show notes for details. And shout out to our boy Jeff Vaccaro and Casey. Our boy, they're both our boys. I don't know why I said our boy. That was singular. This is plural. Lovey's got his house always wins.
I'm bringing it back. We got a little cooler weather now. It's back.
Wings. What was that, Stinson? Tell it. Talking to the mic.
Tuesday wings are back.
All right. Shout out. That's what we're paying him for? All right.
Yep.
We got to keep him on the payroll. So go into QuickBooks and adjust that. But wings are back at the House Bar in Tigerland. What is it? 50 cent wings? 50 cent wings? 50 cent wings at the House Bar in Tigerland on Tuesdays. They're killing it. I was at the House Bar in Tigerland. I was actually looking for Stinson at the House Bar in Tigerland a couple weeks ago, and I couldn't find him. But it's the best bar in Tigerland, especially on game days. Shout out to the House Bar in Tigerland. Best pizza, best atmosphere around. It's going to be packed this weekend. You can go there. They probably open up early for the Tennessee game.
Early.
Yeah. So you can go there and stay there
4 a.m.
all day. You can probably stay. I don't know if it's 4 a.m., but you can stay there
all
the way from the Tennessee game till 2 a.m. that night. So new laws, maybe 3 a.m.
Yep. Shout out Stinson. He got that changed.
Yes, he was lobbying at the legislature for all the youngins out there and the old guys, because apparently everybody's welcome at the House Bar in Tigerland. And
I got Rory's pick here, 34-31. a shootout in Death Valley. LSU. Rory picks the Tigers.
So we all picked relatively close scores. I mean, I think the largest point differential was yours. 4
What's the
points.
total? Is the total out? It wasn't out earlier when I looked.
I'll
look right now.
It's
John, how about you give us
65?
Wow.
65. Wow. I'd go under on that. I think we all hit it. I think we all hit the under on that. But it's going to be.
Is it really 65?
Yeah, dude. I got it right here.
Hold on.
And Tennessee's only 3-point favorites, so that puts us even with Tennessee. So, all right. I'm gonna go ahead while you're checking on that. I'm gonna go ahead and start with the House Always Wins segment. Shout out to House Bar and Tiger.
Give us the records from last week.
All right, last week college. We're gonna start with college. I had Georgia minus 28. Missouri almost won.
Yeah,
Missouri almost
not a good
won.
pick.
This was during the LSU game, and we kept getting updates, and we're like, "Oh my God, it is the third quarter, and Georgia's losing."
Missouri, honestly, maybe the best team in the country at losing close games to superior teams. They lost to Auburn, and then they lost to Georgia. Yeah, bad pick, but keep going.
James, you covered last week.
Yeah, Kentucky +7. I swept last week. I thought Kentucky should have won the game outright. They missed 2 extra points, and the quarterback, Will Levis, who's supposed to be the number 1 pick in the draft, ran backwards and safetied himself in the end zone, or Kentucky wins that game. So that was an easy cover. And what did Rory have for college?
That's what I was going back. I was going back in the text. As you guys know, I didn't record him I didn't write down his pick, but he sent it exactly after we got done.
Okay, I'll talk NFL. I had the Cardinals last week. They won. I was like +1.5.
All right, wait, hold on. I'm gonna go ahead.
And you got it?
Because we're gonna move on.
Go ahead.
NFL. He had Fresno State minus 24. I have no idea.
I'll look at him.
Look that up, and we'll go ahead and move on to NFL. All right. So last week I had the Titans +3.5. I would have taken money line, and I actually did on the side, but there was no way the Colts were coming back after beating the Chiefs the week prior.
Fresno State minus 24.5.
Minus 24.
They lost to UConn 19-14. Wow. All right, so we were 1-2 in college last week.
Ouch. So if you swept, that means at the very least we pushed. I don't know. Rory's pick was Detroit -4. I think they lost.
No, Detroit lost. Yeah.
So we went 3-3.
Okay, we'll take that. We'll take that though. 3-3 is not that bad.
Dude, if you told me before any time that
we're above 500 as a podcast.
If I start betting and you tell me that I'm gonna go even every time, is that not that is the best case scenario?
John, we're above 5. We're above.
Well, it's not the best case scenario. The best case
There's
scenario
no doubt.
would be me sitting in the south of France.
And I had the Cardinals. They beat up on the Panthers.
Yeah,
the Panthers are bad. That line didn't make sense to me, which really scared me.
You did say that.
It did scare me a lot. The Cardinals had to win or their season was over. They were going to go to 1-3, and they have a tough schedule. Baker Mayfield sucks, and the Panthers suck. So Cardinals won outright. But this week I have 2 disgusting picks, John.
Okay.
Disgusting picks.
I'm ready for it. Start with your college pick.
All right. My college pick, the Vanderbilt Commodores. At home, coming off a bye against Ole Miss, who just came off of an emotional victory against Kentucky, +17.5. The Vanderbilt Commies, +17.5. Look, I think Lane is going to run up the score. Vanderbilt's terrible, but this is a rivalry game for Vanderbilt. People forget this actually used to be a rivalry, but Vanderbilt's been terrible recently, and Ole Miss has been better. I don't know why I like Vanderbilt in this spot, but I do. I think it's a little bit of a let down spot for Ole Miss. They're the number 9 ranked team in the country, I believe, and they're almost to the point where they can overlook a team like Vanderbilt. Jackson Dart looked pretty good for the Ole Miss, but give me the Vanderbilt Commies plus 17.5. You want to know this next pick, and I got to look up who they're playing because I forgot already, which is not good. But look, 2-0 last week. You might want to fade me this week because it's more likely that I go 0-2. But I'm going to bet against the public. I'm going to bet against the grain here, against the money, and I'm going to take the Jets plus 3.5 at home against Miami. Zach Wilson's back. He did the gritty. He looked not like a white guy doing the gritty, and he is back. The Jets 2-2 right now. This is a divisional game. Give me the points. Give me the 3.5. I do think the Jets could win this game outright. Tua, I don't think he's going to be playing. They do
As he
have.
shouldn't.
They do have.
He should not be playing.
Mr. LD or
Larry David.
Teddy Bridgewater. You can imagine what that stands for as the backup quarterback. But give me the Jets plus 3.5 at home against the Dolphins.
Okay. Well,
I picked the Jets and the Vanderbilt Commodores.
Those are. I think you're on the right track in saying that those are. Those are pretty.
You gotta have a little
picks.
chest to pick them, and I almost picked the Commies, the Washington Commies. So I would have had double Commies.
Let's not pick the Commies more than we have to.
Yeah, no. We're riding with the Jets though. Jets.
Yeah, that's hard betting on the Jets. I'll just go ahead and say that. But Mississippi State coming off a big win last week against. I'm blanking. Who did Mississippi State beat last? A&M. They beat A&M last week.
Yeah, that was also an easy college pick. I really wanted
we
to
talked
take
about that. We talked about that.
When the line does not make sense like that, it's like, well, I thought A&M was supposed to be good. They're on the road and they're not, they're underdogs to a team that hasn't looked that good, and LSU just beat them, and LSU's not supposed to be that good. That's when you just hammer State, and State hammered them.
Yes. So this week, this is a rat line. I hate the hook on it, but I think Arkansas might even win the game. Arkansas, I don't believe is for real. It's at Mississippi State, but just to throw a little wrinkle in things, I think Arkansas is going to cover plus 9.5. And for my NFL pick, because our London game was so pitiful last weekend, and Luffy, maybe we can kind of talk about that. I don't really want to. At anytime you get double doinked on and then a 10-hour flight home is kind of tough to talk about.
Look, Red Rocket actually played a lot better than Jameis has played so far. The Saints are not great. I mean, the defense has been solid, but the offense isn't doing enough to help the defense out. It's similar to watching LSU, really. Yeah. You watch LSU, and it's very hard to watch the offense, but the defense has played well. The Saints, it's a must-win this week. They have the Jaguars at home. No, I'm sorry. It's not the Jags, is it? It's the Seahawks at home. They're basically the same team.
Seahawks.
But the Jags are actually solid this year.
Yeah, kind of not.
But in the past they've been the same.
Saints are minus 5.5 this weekend.
Yeah, Saints are minus 5.5. If I would lean, I would actually lean Saints here because the Seahawks have played kind of over their potential, but they're traveling all the way down to New Orleans, and the Saints.
They beat the Lions last week.
But it's a must-win game for the Saints.
Yeah, you're right.
It's a must-win game for the Saints.
Coming off the tough ride home.
Yeah, coming off the tough ride home. It's hard.
Kind of a toss-up with the spread involved.
If I had to take either side, I'd probably take the Saints.
It is in the dome, and that means something.
It's in the dome. I mean, it's a must-win for the Saints. You're 1-4. You're done, right?
Yeah, I think there's probably a lot of people who have already.
The Saints have a tough schedule too.
Yes,
1-4, and it's over with. So, and maybe they win and don't cover, but if you had to take a side, probably play the Saints. Maybe play them in a teaser.
Packers. The Packers.
Johnny Packers.
Johnny Packer. The Packers are playing at 8:30 a.m. on Sunday morning, and they are playing against the Giants.
Ooh.
They're -8. I don't like a -8. I'm taking two lines that I just don't like. So you know how we kind of talked about if you see a line you like, you take the opposite. I see a line that I don't like, so I'm taking it. You see what I'm saying?
Look, I mean, Daniel Jones isn't good. I do think Brian Daboll is a good coach, the Giants head coach.
I just think the Packers coming off the OT win against the
Yeah,
Patriots. I think
yeah.
Aaron Rodgers is going to be kind of happy to be in London. I don't know. I
He'll
think
probably have a nice outfit he wears to the game.
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's gonna let his flow
He
come
goes,
through his
he
hat.
goes
his
MVP
Versace.
Rodgers on us. Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
so
I could see it. That's a weird game for me.
it's at 8:30 a.m. So wake up Saturday morning or Sunday morning.
I do love the Packers in a teaser.
Oh, and a teaser. It's pretty much a lock. But we go straight up picks here. Packers -8.
Yeah.
I hate a -8. I really do. But the fact is, the Packers. It's like the Chiefs this past weekend against Tom Brady and the Bucs. The Chiefs rolled after getting embarrassed by the Colts against the Bucs, who you know are having their struggles at times. But I don't know. This is the first time I believe I'm betting on the Packers this year. We're in week 5, so it's kind of weird that I haven't already done it.
They'll come through for you.
It's London, so
I trust they come through.
And
for you.
Rory is putting Crane to sleep, so we don't have his picks yet. But Luffy's going to text him right now and get his picks, and I think that about does it for us tonight.
Yeah, he'll post the picks.
Yep. Shout out to the House Bar in Tigerland, Workbox LLC, Blaine Loop with Keller Williams Realty, DraftKings, and the Boo Crew Media Network. And most importantly, thank you guys so much for listening. We cannot thank y'all enough. I cannot believe we're still doing this. I cannot believe we're, Lovey, you ever, we kind of, the weeks kind of lead into each other, and we get together each week, and
I don't ever feel like it's like a long stretch where we don't. I mean, I feel like it's like you leave here, and then a lot of times we see each other
on
at the
weekend,
game, or on Friday and Friday and Saturday. But then I feel like
we're texting
like
again.
Every
time I get the text on like Monday or Tuesday, it's like, when do we record? It's like, we just did it.
Yeah.
So 126 episodes in, we're still going strong. We're having a blast doing this. There won't be a tailgate this weekend. I'm sorry, I'm being selfish. I cannot wake up that early on a Saturday morning for an LSU game, and who knows? Your boy might be covering the Tigers this weekend. That's all I'll say for that.
That's right.
And
Johnny credentials.
Kind of as an outro to the show, Luffy, I want to hear your thoughts on AB's trip to Dubai. Antonio Brown.
Listen, I think AB is
not Anthony Davis.
He is
Antonio Brown.
He's a special character. I think the Bucks sign him back here soon.
No way.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah. Well, and love is dead. Love is dead. R.I.P. Love.
Okay.